What's going on, everyone? I know it's been some time, but I've been busy working with my athletes, still staying productive and working on my own training. I'm getting a lot of different people asking me about different programs, and the latest one was Feed the Cats. Now, I have heard about it before, and surprisingly, some of the things are similar to some of the things that I do, but we're not the exact same. And then I did a little bit more research into it, and now I can give you what I think about it. The good, what I feel like might not be so good, and whether or not I recommend it to people and what population. All right. All right. So from what I've gathered from Feed the Cats, it's a very minimal training program. It's not gonna burn you and destroy you. It's not. I think one of the things that the guy says is, don't burn the steak. I like the idea of that because coming from my background, I would overdo it when I was training. So that hard work mindset kind of can destroy you. And what I started implementing in myself was similar to Feed the Cats before I even knew about it, but I knew it worked much better for me, right? But what I like about it overall, it's great for recruiting. If you're younger, you're not trying to die. Now, of course, there are some times that you're going to find difficult training sessions, or you're going to have some difficult training sessions, and he does talk about having difficult training sessions even in his programs, just not all the time. One of the other things about Feed the Cats is the fact that you're going to focus on speed. Speed is the main focus. Me being a speed guy, I love the idea of that as well. So they're not talking about doing a whole lot of endurance. Man, basically, I didn't see any from what I looked at. But they're talking about speed. Speed is the focus. Shorter practices get the athletes that are fast to want to run. Many times coaches decide to kill athletes, and they burn a lot of guys that don't want to just run. They say, I'm not going to go over there and run track because they're trying to enjoy themselves, right? So when athletes say, do you run track? Like, nah, it's too much running for me. Why am I running, But if you do it with something like a Feed the Cats program like he has, they enjoy it. Everybody wants to be explosive, especially at a younger age, even older. Just a lot of people aren't able to. Or don't train that way. As well as injuries are minimal. I don't see too many injuries, especially with him throwing in the RPR, which I like as well, and I've been implementing that with my athletes. To run fast, you have to run fast. That's what I preach, and I've been saying that for years now. So I like that. I agree with that 110%. I'm all for it. Now, let's get into what I kind of don't like, or I feel like might not be as good. Now, what I don't like is the fact that he doesn't really talk about warming up too much. He likes to get into it with, I think, drills is somewhat his warm ups, but he doesn't have too much of a prep period. Now, that could be okay, especially for the younger population, but as you get older, you start realizing that if you've been in the weight room, then you're going to have some tightness and some type of things that you're going to have to do a little bit more prep for, at least in my experience with a lot of athletes, right? Another thing is that he doesn't like the weight room. That's one of the things that is a big issue depending on the population, especially in today's society. We live in a time where people want to be in the weight room. So if you're telling people that not to consider the weight room, they're going to be in the weight room. So why not teach them ways so that they can use the weight room to still be athletic and not necessarily hurt themselves or hurt their performance? Because some people, if they're not the fastest in the world or the best, they're not concerned with being, I'm not trying to be 110 pounds running fast. They'd rather have a little bit of muscle. Of course, people want to look good. So if you're not the fastest, why not, look good? A little bit of muscle. Some people are more inclined to want to hit some weights to look a little decent, We are in a society that fitness is a big thing. So, teach them how to, I would say, teaching people how to lift and how to lift while maintaining performance or even increasing performance is ideal. Now, don't get me wrong, I do understand the risk of somebody putting on too much muscle mass or, slowing themselves down by lifting too heavy. That is a risk, but I think that there's so much benefit from actually lifting properly that you can still get in. I don't think it should be taken away completely, but it is a gamble, especially For the younger people, I wouldn't recommend them getting into just straight crazy lifting, especially not any advanced protocols or any advanced training. You can get away with just basic and then functional training. Then the last thing is being able to program specific for athletes or that might have different imbalances. So I don't see any real assessment, things like that. Things that athletes might have specific to their body, I don't see anything that can say this will work for you, we'll tweak it, no assessments at all. And that's kind of like a thing that I'm kind of like, you might want to, throw in something. In my own personal opinion, I would throw in some assessments in there to make sure that the athlete can get the most out of the program. Now, would I recommend it? Overall, I feel like it's a great program, especially for younger athletes. If I were in it when I was a young in high school or even middle school, I would have done great in it. But once I started lifting weights, if I were to do it just straight off of that, I would not see the best results. I think just doing that, I personally wouldn't improve as well. I think I'd be more likely to get hurt a little bit throughout the time because of what I've done that caused me to be a little bit tighter. I've been doing weights and things like that, right? In general, it's a great, I know I would recommend some coaches to do it. High school coaches, middle school coaches, that will get people active and running. I feel like you should be able to run and everybody should be able to run relatively fast. Try to run fast a few times a week and you're gonna be faster. You're gonna be better. Running fast is actually the best way to stop yourself from being hurt, so that's a thing that goes with it. If you're a football player, I would still find a way to throw in some weights because you do need some muscle mass. Yes, speed is good. Yes, you'll need speed. The faster you are, the better you're going to be. But you still are going to have to lift some weights. So depending on the sport, you're going to have to lift weights. So don't just say, oh, I'm just going to run the whole time, because you can kind of hinder yourself unless you're just a crazy freak or whatnot, right? If you're going to use it, tweak it depending on what you need it for, what your sport is. But overall, seems solid. Give it a go, check it out. I like the idea of it. I'm a speed guy. I like recovery. I like speed. So those two things go in line with what I kind of believe in. And then, of course, if we throw in some assessment and a little bit of functional weight training and specific weight training, you're good in my book. But yeah, till next time, peace.